and we're getting ready for the second game here. I am still in kind of, phew, finally Europe is doing what they're supposed to mode. I was a little scared, I have to admit. Yesterday, I think I said I was disappointed in the end of the cast. I probably shouldn't have said that. I mean, they did try their best, but right, I did expect more than, you know, 2 second places and a third place yesterday. But this is the Fnatic that, you know, makes me happy. What do you think? Can CLG turn this around?
I don't know. They played a very good game. They're going to have to play a very much stronger lane game. That's really where they lost this matchup. Their turrets were taken down quickly. We can see that most of the players on the Fnatic side were over 200 creep score, where 160 was really the max for CLG, and you're not. That's where you see those gold per per second items are coming in, and it's not. You really want that to go to a late game, and that's not what Fnatic was giving them. No. So CLG definitely needs to play a stronger lane game in this one. Pick better characters that can sustain in lane, and we'll have to see how they do that. There were some great counter picks in the hands of Fnatic and CLG last game, but Fnatic seemed to work their way around that, put a little band-aid on the picks that they couldn't have, and you really came out with a stellar team.
You know what I expect from CLG right now is actually a heavy poke team. They are probably going to say, okay, this didn't work. We need to do a team comp where we can just leave Fnatic basically tight into their bases and just draw it out, play the game that we want to play, and just go to a poke game where they can take our turrets, because we'll just do damage to them all the time, and we can slowly wear down their turrets. So if they leave Nidalee open, if Fnatic leave Nidalee open, I definitely expect a Nidalee pick. I definitely expect CLG to go for the Ashe this time with the volley, very, very strong in any poke comp as well. As for Fnatic, okay, I should not give away too much secret information, but they did tell me about a super secret comp that they have, and a trump, if you want, an ace up their sleeve, and this wasn't it. There is something else that they're looking forward to playing at some point.
A really off-band pick team that you wouldn't expect.
Yes, exactly. All right. Maybe we're going to see that now, because they definitely want to win this. After this, it's going to be double elimination. So after this, they have plenty of room for mistakes again, but no room for mistakes in this game. If they lose this, they are out.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. We'll have to see what they can do. We'll have to see if they can bring up the map here and do a little bit of drawing for everybody and let everybody know what happened in that game and where it happened. If we can put up Xenon's screen here, we'll be able to show you guys, you know, where most of these fights went down and how it happened here with our transcript there.
Can we cut over to my screen? Okay, very good. Yes, we have this shiny little tool here prepared for you guys. Okay, so
good center.
Right. So do you want to talk first about what happened at the blue buff?
Well, a lot actually happened at blue buff. If you're going to go ahead and let you know where that is. Right here, blue buff is initiated 3 fights onto the screen. That's exactly where they happened. Nunu was taken down many times, and we both said that, you know, don't focus the tank, and really it should have been initiated. The team walked by him. A lot of cooldowns were down for Fnatic, and a lot of dragon control, but Nunu was focused a lot in that matchup.
The most interesting fight here was the dragon fight, where Fnatic was somewhere in this area just after having taken down the dragon, and CLG thought, well, that's okay. We can just, you know, push in from here. We can just open up with Nunu and put him in the first row and basically force them to focus on Nunu, and it didn't work for them. I mean, they did focus on Nunu, but it wasn't enough. Nunu soaked up all that damage and then some, and he was basically able to. Fnatic was basically able to win the fight anyway. And the most amazing pushes that we saw, I personally think, were when Fnatic pushed here into the blue of CLG, and CLG in their own forest, unable to defend their blue. It's just that this kind of area is super clumped for them, and they should normally be able to take any kind of fight that comes here with a never move and everything. And
yeah, you would definitely think so.
Yeah, and still, even though this is where all the fights happened, they just couldn't put out enough damage output to actually shut down Fnatic, and Fnatic said, well, that's fine by us, you know, we can just initiate on you in your own jungle and we can take it down.
Yeah, a lot of their fights could have been broken line of sight there. They could have split up Fnatic a little bit more instead of ran into the entire team.
Right.
You know, Nunu kind of walked into his team on that one, and XPK being very aggressive within that game was just able to continuously do damage with the help of his team behind him. Wasn't worried about it. The team very cohesive in the knowledge of what was happening and where the fight was going to go down, and a lot of that happened in that bottom left jungle for CLG, losing their top turret first, then the mid, and then the bottom, and they really weren't able to come back from that one.
Yeah,
it was just not a really good match for them at that point in time.
That was really the other. That was really the only thing that the only thing that they could have done at that point with the dragon was just to leave the dragon, because at the point that that Fnatic managed to push down here, push the minions past
that minion
this
wave
point,
down to get visibility.
And you have to see that if you want to go into the dragon, you have only a few options. You can take this lane kind of, or you can go from down here, or you can go this way. So after they pushed the minions past this point, really, with this arrow, there was. No, just let me do this. And there was not much else. They couldn't come from here anymore. So this way was locked off to them, because clearly they lost the vision. They had vision of this part because of the enemy minions. So what they had to do then was to either come from this direction right here, and they had a ward in this push right here, and they were also positioning themselves up here. So that was also taken away from them. So this arrow that we see down here, that was really the only chance that CLG had. And we saw that fight, even though they took that, they were just clumped up and ready for the killing.
The power of vision.
And I believe the teams are now actually ready for us. So we are going to go and give the go-ahead in chat. Please go. All right. And we're going to go into the second game. I'm really, really interested in the picks and bans here. I'm really going to...
They kind of know what cards they just played, so we're going to have to see what kind of cards they throw out on this one, and what cards they're dealt as well. We're going to have to see what happens. Are we ready to go? We're getting the message from Big Fat LP. He wants to know if they're ready. CLG looks like they really want to get in this one. They're fired up for this next match. It seems like they've really discussed what went down and how it happened differently, and we'll have to see how these guys come out to it.
All right. We are now in the picks and bans, so we are actually not Elements as left during Champion Select. And is going to get a leave, obviously, and a loss as well, because this was clearly a ranked game. Okay, so there is a little bit of, yes. Well, Rivington, it would have broken our perfect run of never having a game start on time. So, yes, we can have that.
That's close.
Yes. Fortunately, we still have
usually the teams joining up on the wrong side. First ban, first pick, also side there. So it definitely makes a difference, and that's where we're going to get this game restarted and have them on the correct sides, since we're going to do this correctly here.
All right. So, what would you ban? If you were the team captain of CLG right now, what would you ban?
I'd probably ban that Malzahar. The team shutdown for XPK.
Yeah. But, you only have 3 bans. You're going to ban the Malzahar, you're going to leave the Alistair open for Shushe. You're not going to leave the Alistair open.
You still have another ban as well.
Right, yeah.
So they could be coming out with the Malzahar and the Alistar, but then they're really just focusing on AP, and they have to make sure that no tank is given away in the jungle. So it's definitely going to be really hard for them to come out with some good picks and good bans, since Fnatic now has their full 5. They obviously know how they play. Like we said before, once the teams are done, once the teams are ready, we're just joining the game. Once the teams are done playing, they come over here and they watch the other games go down. They watch the big screen. They sit with all the players and whatnot, chat it up, do some signing and autographs. But they really are just dissecting what their opponent is doing. They may have to face them. And that's really what it came down to here. Nobody really got to see XPK play yesterday. He said he was nervous, but he came out with the first blood, and he was able to come out with an amazingly strong Malzahar game. And that's, kind of behind closed doors yesterday. He wasn't able to show that coming out. Took CLG by surprise. Now they know, and we'll really have to see how this next game goes. It was almost like watching, Zan play against the TSM match. We're just like, what? Zan was playing against TSM, and they absolutely just rolled through with Mordekaiser. But the next game, against CLG, since TSM beat CLG, you would have thought that Zan would have had an easy match there, but CLG was able to take down Zan, watching their gameplay and banning Mordekaiser.
That is a very good point. CLG are very, very adaptable. You saw that already last year at the WCG in LA, where their first game from SK Gaming basically introduced North America to the idea of a split push. That was the first time they saw that at high elo, and CLG went, what just happened? But they adapted so very quickly to that. And we are now actually finally into the picks and bans. And let's see how CLG are going to react. So first ban, first pick for Fnatic, and they ban Nidalee. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I would ban Nidalee.
Yes, Hotshot does not get to play Nidalee. We saw what happened with that yesterday. It's kind of like a West Rice Akali. Just something you don't want to happen at that point in time. We'll have to see what XPK now is going to be the one to pick for the ban here, and definitely talking it over with his team,
Yes,
conversing,
Alistar.
and there is the pick for Alistar.
Yep.
Shushei focused.
Yep. Well, it does make sense that AP Alistar, A, Shushei is really good at it.
Yes.
B, they're not used to it in America. They are not trained up against it. Twisted Fate, banned from Fnatic, that is aimed against Big Fat. He is really, really good with Twisted Fate. And, you know, it's not just a question of being a good split pusher, because split pushing is kind of, you know, you port to towers and destroy them. It's not that hard, but you need to be good Twisted Fate as well during team fights, and he is that.
You know, whenever I think of TF, I always think of you got out of your lane just before you died, and you're about to enter your base, and you just see the cards start coming down right next to you, and you have a sliver of health. The Rumble actually being picked out there. Nice ban by CLG.
Yeah, the Rumble ultimate is just so powerful, and in Europe, Rumble is an auto ban at the moment in tournaments, which is just surprising to North Americans because they don't really think of him as that strong. And Nivea ban, very good. Shushei, he did not blow my mind with his Nivea, but Nivea, like I said, isn't a champion that really has these really amazing plays. But he played a super solid Nivea. I mean, the walls were spot on and everything, and a good Nivea is always scary.
So a lot of the Fnatic bans more damage focused. A lot of the CLG bans obviously damage from Alistar and Rumble, but more tanky focused.
This leaves all the tanky junglers open, and that plays into Fnatic's hands. I think they can run anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, there. And I move at least. They can take a Nunu, they can take a Jarvan, whatever they want. Maybe they'll pick Jarvan. Ash picked for Fnatic, very good. That does not allow CLG to run a really strong poke lineup unless they want to run Caitlyn, and I doubt they want to run Caitlyn.
Ooh.
Okay, there is the Vlad. That is going to go to... Is it going to stay with Big Fat, or is it going to go to Hotshot?
I'm not sure. We'll have to see who else they get in this one. It's too early to call on that, but they definitely... XPK kind of doing a semi-ban pick there and not allowing CLG to get it, and obviously one of the best carries in the... or better carries in the game.
And there's the Janna.
St. Vicious going for Janna.
Yeah, that's also a counter pick. You don't want the Janna Ashe bot lane. Even though it didn't dominate that much late game, last game, but it's still a very strong lane. And on top of that, you have the super strong support.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Taric in the picks on this one for Fnatic as a support player for their side. It would be a really good pick. It would leave a lot of tank on their team as well, and they can build around that to really assist themselves with the armor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Taric is probably a better pick once the enemy have shown their hands and have shown that they have a lot of strong AD. CLG wisely not picking the AD yet, although I would be surprised to see anything but Vayne at this point. Nunu, very, very strong jungler, is going to invade the enemy jungle. Let's see what...
Oh, wow.
Oh, there's the Swain again. No, there's a Swain for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's the flip side. They're pretty much taking everything that CLG had last time.
I know why, yes. This is the Vlad counter. XP is going to run that Swain, and it's going to kick Vlad out of the game, basically. That's, I think, is the idea behind the Swain pick. And XP is probably in Europe, I think, the strongest Swain player. So we should see some amazing Swain play here.
So it looks like they grabbed Nunu, but he is going to be switched with somebody else, and we'll have to see who Shushei gets, as he is not the one to be playing Nunu. He's going to Flash Ignite, meaning they're going to get a switch up after the summoners have all locked in, or the players, I should say.
Warwick.
And we do see a Warwick that will most likely be in the jungle, but we have seen CLG play in lane.
Oh yeah, lane is very strong against any top lane. And actually, this could be a counter pick because it could counter the Swain.
A lot of countering.
A lot of countering. And Annie, I believe that Annie is then going to go to Big Fat LP, is it? I'm not even that sure.
We'll definitely have to see. They're going to actually, looks like, no, not to St. Vicious. St. Vicious is going to switch it over with Elements, and it could be Chowster that's grabbing him. I'm not too sure about that one.
Yes, the Gragas for Shushei. Wow. This is his trademark character. So his Alistar, that's what he invented, but he became famous with his Gragas play. And he started playing Gragas full AP at a time when people said, well, you just play tanky Gragas and you build innovating locket and you win. And he was like, no, I'm going to build full-on tank, full-on AP all the time. And
defy the masses.
So well. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they do have that sustained heal. Melisande taking again on the support player as he was Janna last time, the support champion, I should say. Hotshot GG to make his pick, and we'll probably get a better idea of where these teams are going to switch around their champions after this, besides St. Vicious obviously getting the jungle, Warwick. And
right, because they need an AD now. Oh, there's Caitlyn.
Wow, all
so
right.
That's the poke that I was talking about. that could still work. You know, with Vlad and
So
Jana and Caitlyn, you do have a lot of poke there still.
So elements, and it's going to be possibly Hotshot down bottom unless Hotshot and Big Fat kind of switch this one up.
I think Hotshot is going to play the Vlad here.
Yeah.
Well, interesting lineups there. I would have to say I'm giving it to Fnatic kind of here from the picks. I'm not seeing...
would.
Well, I would too, but they cannot play a poke game against a really good Ash Arrow initiation followed up by a really good Gragas barrel. And if there's one thing that Shushi can do is he can toss that barrel. He knows how to charge in.
Can you imagine that combo?
Oh yeah.
Ash Arrow, you get bounced back right onto a never move, and Sona's like, dance for me. You're not going anywhere.
I would love to see that combo if they can pull it off. Okay, so we see the switches now. Elements playing the Annie, Big Fat LP playing the Vlad, and Hotshot playing the Vlad. There you are. That makes more sense, yes.
There it is.
So Hotshot the Vlad. Cyanide going to the jungle as always. No surprise there. Oh, really?
No. Really? Okay.
Hotshot is not the best support player in America. But we'll see, we'll see. I mean, he did pretty well on the Swain last game. I'm not sure why they put him on the spot, but that's the confusing thing really about American teams. They don't stick to their roles very much. They mix it up.
You got to play your cards the way they're dealt, and these guys like to switch it in and get new ones. So we'll have to see how this goes for him. Hotshot GG is going to play Janna. This is that final game for Fnatic to take over on CLG. So we'll have to see what they can do. The second game.
It is also the final game for CLG.
Yes.
So if they lose this, they no longer have a shot at first place, and they are going to go down to the match for 5th place, which is, you know, still better than nothing, but you are not in a tournament to take 5th place. That is not usually what you set out to do.
No, it's not. I mean, if you're just joining us here on the stream, or obviously if you're here in the Almia Convention Center, you know you are at Jönköping, Sweden, and this is DreamHack 2011 Summer. We have the Season 1 Championship going down, $100,000 tournament, and it's going to be a big prize for that first place, and everybody is gunning for it right now. Fnatic showing very strong play, able to take out CLG in their last matchup. XPK finally being able to join up with his team, and that was, you know, really the cohesiveness and the combination that they needed to be able to take down CLG pretty handily in that last game. We'll have to see now CLG with some new picks, a few new cards in their hands, and we'll have to see how they can come out in this next game.
You could really feel the telepathy that last game. You know, they know how to play as a team. They have played hundreds and hundreds of games in this exact lineup, and they know exactly, this is the kind of damage that XP can do. This is when Shushe will go in seemingly suicidal, so we all back him up, and the enemy team is like, whoa, they're going? And they're dead. And that just worked beautifully. Like I said yesterday, we will fail are not a bad player by any means at all, but he does not have the telepathy. He did not play enough games for the team.
The team chemistry, you know, a team can always, as I said before, look good on paper. They can have good scores, they can have good elos, good ratios in their wins. But if you still don't know when the initiation is going to happen, when your tank is going to overstep that boundary, and it means initiation without anything being said, it's really when the game can be silent and you just know what to do. You know who to focus. It was discussed before, and it's been discussed throughout every game. So we'll have to see what they can do. One thing I'd like to point out is not that they could be squishy. They could always build pretty tanky, but it is quite a squishy CLG team without a sustained heal. Just Vlad by himself. Warwick can kind of get himself back up, but you know, Annie is really going to have to initiate the fight for these. It's
not going to be a lane weak. That means he's going to lag behind a little bit in items. That means he's not going to be quite as tanky, but we'll have to see what they make of this. And this is it, Europe versus North America, the final game in the relegation for these two teams, CLG versus Fnatic. Let's have a round of applause for both teams.
As we jump back in here, we see both teams again. It seems to be mirrored every time now, just heading down middle, seeing who can get the first poke on, and then into the jungle, and we'll have to see how that happens. We can see vision for both teams here. It looks like already one ward, no, not a ward, I'm sorry. That is Caitlyn Trap has been paced by blue, and that's usually where you pull that golem in to take it down, so nobody can see you until they get there. A very good move, very strategic. Wards are also going down towards Wraith, and they are going to be able to block anything that comes from there. It looks like they are doing a pretty aggressive, just defensive strat here. Wouldn't be aggressive, more defensive, but they are ready to take somebody out as soon as they cross that river, or possibly initiate into the river once they make it. 30 seconds till the minions go on, so there's definitely a lot of time, and they do have some movement. I don't believe that Ward will be able to see them just yet. I think it's just on the outer edge. Caitlyn going around, that is Big Fat LP, is going to put one down right on that Ward as well. That's going to give them full vision and a little bit of time to get to that area if they need so.
Yeah, Yeah, but it doesn't look like either of the teams are really looking for a level 1 fight. Fnatic were in position there in case CLG would have come and face check the bush. It's been known to happen, but yeah, no fights really necessary here. And Cyanide is just going to eat the first Wolf here and then run up to Golem and have a perfect time to kill Golem as well. Oh, and he even gets the assist from Chushay. That is very nice. Nice team play here, and that's going to make Cyanide's jungle that much faster.
Yeah, it really matters how your jungle is going through the game. If you're thrown off just a little bit or you don't get the buff you need, it really hinders your ability to get around the map. As we said, you're not going to have the full item build as you're in the jungle unless you're in the lanes really conducting your ganks 100%. And again, more help and a leash for the blue on Cyanide. Great teamwork here coming out of the hands of Fnatic in the beginning of the game. And it looks like Alistar is left, go to his own jungle. It is going to be Gragas versus Annie in mid. Very nice. Vlad versus Swain up top. And the support carry lanes down bottom, Janna, Caitlyn, and Ashe, and Sona.
This was great, actually. I wanted to talk about the jungle a little bit more. With this amount of support, the level 2 gank for Nunu will come much quicker than CLG are expecting it. And where is he going? Oh, there is a ward there, but he's not going there. So he is going to top lane. That is the normal rotation for Nunu. Take Golem, do a level 2 gank, or eat a Golem. And I think he's going to go and eat a Golem right here. And that's going to slow Warwick down some more.
Yeah, this will definitely help. Able to, as I said, hinder that jungle path of Warwick. He's over now getting his blue. It looks like he's actually dodged the Caitlyn, or actually doesn't have to dodge it. Just Caitlyn is on his team, but he is able to get that blue, knowing it wasn't going down and nobody has been in that position. Elements taking a good amount of damage from the Gragas barrels at this point. And Gragas, a little bit of health taken down as well. Annie holding that stun up whenever you see that blue around her waist. That means she does have a stun ability from her passive. And it looks like Swain is giving Vlad a little bit of trouble here, pushing the lane quite hard, trying to get those minions pushed into the turret. So the turret is the one feeding off the minions, and Chaucer will not be able to get those last hits in. And he is going to level. It looks like Gragas is backing pretty far. He may be going, no, just waiting for the minions. It looks like he may have backed to get something if he had some good last hits from now. But he will not be doing that. Everybody's about level 3, level 2 in the game, as they're all just leveling at the same. Warwick to head in his jungle, and really nothing too much aggressiveness right now. Everything played very cautiously because this means a lot for both teams.
Look how far back CLG are pushed already. The Swain versus Vlad lane apparently working exactly like Fnatic wanted it to be. Fnatic really considers Swain a counter to Vladimir, and it seems to be working. Vladimir obviously a little bit underpowered until he hits level 6 or 7. So we'll have to see how it goes after that point. But XP is going to try and mess with this early game before it even gets to that point. A lot of sustain here from Gragas in lane, of course. It looks like there was a disconnect. Strange. He seemed to be moving just fine. A lot of sustain, obviously. Every time Gragas uses one of his spells, he regenerates a little bit of health, and that just means he can be safe in the lane even if he takes a little bit of damage from Annie. And the barrel, if it's used properly, it's really good at both farming and harassing the enemy at the same time. It looks like Nunu is coming up for a level 4 gank here on Vladimir, and they're not going to kill him. He still has his pool, but
oh wow! A very nice never move coming out of the hands. I don't think Cyanide thought that was going to happen, or he kind of turned away right before the Ice Blast got away, and they weren't able to do the damage required. Great timing by XPK on that. The Sanguine Pool used a little early, but he still would have taken a lot of damage nonetheless. They had really good positioning on that gank.
Oh, now Nunu coming in from behind for a gank on Annie. But Warwick at the same time also waiting in the sides, and I think this is probably... This could be dire for... No, he gets away. The red buff was not enough to stop the blood boil. So a double gank that ended up with no kills.
As we head down to look towards bottom lane, really no damage being done here. Pretty docile lane as they just kind of poke at each other and the health is just given back. We do see that Caitlyn has that Doran, so she doesn't really have to worry too much as long as she can get a lot of shots on. And she has been doing that, pushing the lane quite hard at this point. And it just seems like control really not in anybody's favor right now. It's just going back and forth as the minion waves can keep spawning. They're going to move back into mid on that one, and they're going to be right at the river where they want to be. You almost want to be a little bit towards your side, so you have the protection of your turret. Swain actually has it right where he wants right now. If it wasn't to move from there, he'd be very happy farming in that position. You don't have to cross a river, and they're forced to stay in the top bush. You don't have to worry about them. You may have to call AFK, but that's only going to assist your team. Really a great position to be in while farming. And
I have to point out that XP still has one of his 3 original potions, while Vlad already had to go back, and it looks like Vlad really not having a good time here. And for everybody who's screaming that Vlad is OP, this is a little lesson in how to counter Vlad. It's really 6-4. That is an amazing advantage.
Yeah, wow.
36 kills to 12. Yeah, Vlad's not doing well here.
Forced to go and use a Sanguine Pool. Could see Nunu coming up for a gank after this. He's definitely going to have the cooldown there. Nunu's actually on the fountain, so Vlad not really has anything to worry about. Good damage coming out of the hands of PK, but he does not have enough mana to keep the bird on. No blue buff yet. Wow, just absolutely slicing through the health of Chowster, looking to get a quick transfusion on and give himself some health back. He's going to get a little bit from that level, but not too much assistance at this point.
And the next thing that's going to happen is Blue is going to come back up, Nunu's going to prepare that, Peak is going to rotate down, pick up the Blue, and just turn into Chauster's worst nightmare ever.
Yeah, no real reason for XPK to leave the lane at this point. He's got a lot of health, and it looks like he's going to be able to control this lane on the other side of the turret. Warwick coming up, however, with red buff, and Peak is going to see that, and he's going to start to move back, trying to get some last hits on the minions, rebuff on his mana, that is the passive as well, and just go ahead and back up. I believe he's got to have something to buy at this time, so he may just be blue pilling back to the lane. Oh yeah, going for blue buff, so he's going to actually stay in his lane as long as possible. A nice sun up coming out of the hands of Hotshot GG. He was able to take pop up Ashe at that point in time. The big fat LP with a lot of, not too much mana under his belt, but enough to do some good damage here to Sona if they do choose to do that once more. And the minion wave, actually, as I said, went back to middle here. Sona in a good spot from Melissan, rather, to farm up some of the minions and get that in his favor.
And Vlad in the bushes here trying to blue pill. X-Peak is aware of it, and is he going to catch him? Yes. And, oh, he does not push it. Oh, yeah, he must have seen that Warwick coming. He must have smelled that Warwick coming, and he does not push it at this point. Vlad would have had pool anyway, but still, it would have hurt Vlad some more. And it would have been bad for his nerves as well. And it looks like mid lane is definitely going in favor of Gragas here with 54 to 45. And Annie being not yet behind the level, but she has to go home again. And Gragas is still happily, well, he's been home once, but he managed to buy a blasting wand already. Quick fact for you here, the blasting wand in French is called baguette explosive. And I'm not making that up. It's actually what it's called. And I find that just hilarious.
Warwick going back for his blue. Caitlyn picking up a BF sword, so that's definitely going to help the lane down bottom with a lot of damage output. However, Ashe with Sona able to get that sustainable burst heal, so they should be all right in that fact. It's going to be seen in the late game where we see Caitlyn doing a lot of that damage and staying behind the defensive lines to do that poke. A huge amount of range on her attack, so we'll see that coming from her. Gragas still in mid. It looks like they're getting a ping down on Vladimir. They believe they can take him down. 8 to 6 are the levels between Swain and Vlad right now. The Ashe arrow coming up, and he steps right in front of it. No wards were in that, so it was an unintentional dodge, but definitely a dodge that he is excited about. He probably could have pooled if it was going to hit him. You can see a lot of Vlads do that, and Chowster would have had the reaction time to make that happen. LP back into lane with that BF sword, and they're going to see what kind of damage they can do to Lamia's.
That is an interesting choice. He went dagger BF sword before boots. If someone did that in my game, I would have words for them, and they would not be nice words.
Well, you do kind of have Tailwind. It's not something you can rely on from Janna,
and you have
the boots on another player or in your opposing team is definitely going to be able to catch you.
Yeah, absolutely. It may come back and haunt him, but for now it looks like he's actually winning the bot lane, which is somewhat amazing to me.
Ward placement going down. There's now one ward from each team down by Dragon. We're going to see Nunu kind of going around. No, he's going to go down towards his wolves. He's not going to go back up top towards the river. They're going to leave Vlad alone for now after harassing him, after harassing Chowster, I should say, for pretty much the whole game up top. And that's really what you need to do. You know, bottom lane is getting kind of pushed as well. A lot of damage being done there. The ultimate coming out. She's going to be able to proc a huge amount of damage from that. And Sona was taking at least a quarter of her health to half of it right there throughout the middle. And they're just going to back up on that one. It's something you see a lot of Caitlyn's do. You know you're not going to be able to get the kill, but that's very aggressive. And they now have to play a lot more careful. They can't be careful. They can't come out. Sona or Janna can get that stun up again onto Sona, and they possibly could be able to get the kill if it happens in their favor.
And I just checked here, top lane, Vlad did use his ultimate and went really aggressive on XPeak and forced XPeak to portal home. So that's a minor victory for Vlad, but still he's at 26 CS versus XPeak 68. Not where you want to be in a top lane. I would say that top lane is probably won by Fnatic at this point. And it looks like they may actually be switching it around, or is Shuji just waiting for a gank here? Huh.
Not sure. They do see that Vlad has gone back, and they may actually try to get these minions out, and then they may try to just hide in the bush and camp it out until Vlad gets back to the lane. I don't see that happening, though. They are going to push off of that one, gain some experience. Gragas is going to go ahead and flop through the wall. And he's just going to go to mid and soak up this experience. Back to his own lane. Shushay, great damage, already being able to take down the Sork minions. They are weaker than the melee minions. And we do see Warwick coming up top as well. We'll see how he can do something. If he can do something in this instance for CLG, they do need something to happen here. There is no first blood that we have seen yet. 12 minutes into the game. I think this may be one of the longest ones. Both teams absolutely playing cautious and leaving nothing to chance.
And that's what they need to do. For both teams here, the tournament is on the line. You lose this tournament, you lose this fight, this game, and you do not have a shot at the first places anymore. And that is a lot of money that people would lose here. And trust me, these guys are playing their absolute A game here. Lamia must be under a lot of pressure. He's considered a good carry, but he's not really doing that well right now. And also, there is an early dragon from Fnatic, and there is a ward here for CLG, so they are aware of it, but they're nowhere near in position. Caitlyn is trying to go for it, and Annie also in position, barely dodges that arrow. Janna is coming in, but oh, look at that, Dragon's doing too much damage, and I think, oh god, is Silent gonna go down? And he goes down!
First blood. Continuing the fight, a great ult from Sona. It looks like they may be able to take down St. Fishes as well. Will he get away? The Ash arrow does not crit enough. Can she get a volley through the wall? And she's stopped by a Caitlyn trap. Beautiful placement by Caitlyn there with that last trap. Ash just loves cupcakes way too much. And he does go down by the Gragas barrel. However, Shushay coming up very big on the assist one right there for his team. And it's going to be a 2-1. 2 of CLG falling down. And it is going to be, it was just Cyanide, but that was first blood, a little extra gold. They were able to get 14.4K right now in favor of Fnatic, and 13.3, not too much of a difference between the money right now. We did just have our first bit of action within the game, so we're going to have to see where it goes from here. All turrets still stand on the map, and we definitely have a great game under our belt right now.
That was a little bit of hesitation there that caused Fnatic that first blood. They went for Dragon, then they went out, they went back in, and you know, Dragon is not just a victim. Dragon actually does quite some damage as well, and you could just see how low that that Nunu went there from the Dragon, and then he was just an easy pickup. Now let's see who they give the second blue to. I would normally say that they give it to Shushay, but Shushay nowhere near to this blue, so oh yeah, XP is coming down right now. It does make a lot more sense to put it on Swain, but Fnatic has been known to give Shushay the blue even when it's not the best way of playing it. Let's see what Shushay can do 1v2 here.
He is just kind of hiding in the bush, feeling very comfortable about his position right now. He could just kind of flop away if he wanted to. Transfusion going down into Swain. Looks like Ash, no, going out by himself, trying to go Renegade onto Caitlyn there. It looks like we got a 2v1 up top. They will continue to push back this one. Nunu coming in, St. Vicious somewhat changing his mind, going for the ultimate. Annie's right there. Could they get the Tibbers drop? But Nunu able to get away in time after seeing that Incinerate come out of the hands of Annie.
That was very good play on Element's part, or to be there in time to join that fight, or almost join that fight. And I was a little bit surprised when St. Vicious jumped in with his ulti, but it seems that it turned out well enough for them. They got the tower out of it and they had pushed 2 people back. But maybe Fnatic can pick up that mid-tower. It would be very, very dangerous, but no, I think they're probably not going to go for it.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to be done by the minions. They will get the bottom though, so they trade top and bottom tower on both sides. Very good play by both teams here. And CLG, as I said before, has to pick up their lane game. They're already doing better. In this one, the team composition seemed to be working better for them, and they're able to counter a little bit what CLG is doing, or Fnatic is doing, I should say.
Infinity Edge before boots. Really? Really? Wow. Okay, so this man wants damage. That's what he wants. That's the only thing he cares about. He just wants the damage.
Big Fat, is all about positioning right now. He has to make sure he is where he needs to be. His flash is actually down, so he's got to be even more careful at this point in time.
Yes.
Where he's going to position himself for the next fight, possibly going back. I think this may be your boots, and you can finally wipe the sweat off of your forehead and be ready for some runaround from Caitlyn.
Right, because right now Caitlyn was a tank, and I mean a tank as in that big metal thing with a big barrel that bullets come out of. That was all she was. Now she has boots, and that makes me rest a little easier here for Big Fat RP.
Indeed, she did grab her boots, but however, that Infinity Edge pretty early, 16 minutes into the game, that's going to be really great for her. They want this damage to go down early. They want to be able to over-damage Ashe, who only has that BF sword in her hand. She did go for 2 Dorans and her Zergreaves quite early. And it looks like Shushay is kind of playing a little bit of defensive strategy as well as offensive here. The Asher are going down. Does he have his ultimate? Blasting her back. Huge amount of damage and instantly melted by Fnatic. Well played, knowing they could take that one down, not taking any damage within the fight.
That was exactly the spell really you were talking about. Point by point. You called it beautifully there, man. That was the Ashe arrow into Graga's ulti, into Never Move. It's just so much coordination. And look at that. Already the Dragon pick up again from that Caitlyn kill. I don't know, maybe Caitlyn wouldn't have been standing that far from the tower if she had level 2 boots, but I'm not gonna talk about that much more.
Yeah, I don't think the boots would have really helped her out of there, and that's what I said. She did not, Big Fat did not have his flash up.
Oh wow,
did that go to Janna? Close to that position.
Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, that was very, very close, but XP actually refreshing his blue there. Janna almost taking that with the whirlwind. That would have been amazing.
Vlad quite far pushed out. CLG playing a pretty good game right now. It is 3-1, however, in favor of Fnatic. They were able to take that fight by grabbing, as we saw, Big Fat, as he was a little overextended when the tower went down. You know, Shushay is playing a very big position game with his Gragas as well. They're kind of just, you know, Shushay's there. We don't have to worry about it too much. But he's really been the initiator for a lot of things. That Ashe arrow came down, and he was able to get Shushay, or Big Fat back into the fight, as we saw. A great kill there. And they're just going to be able to work off of that and really focus out Caitlyn in every fight. You saw how much damage she took right away.
Oh, yeah.
She's really not going to get any more defensive at this point. So we'll see what she has to do. Maybe a Banshee's fail at some point in time to really dodge that barrel.
For that first arrow, so that arrow can only be used in a team fight after her Banshees was popped. But yeah, without the Banshees, they can do this as many times as they want to, and you cannot dodge an arrow that you don't see coming. That's basically the lesson that they're gonna have to learn here. Shushay almost taken on top turret, but I think he's gonna be fine. Yeah, he has his ult. He can use it defensively. He can just dash away, and there is Sonar as well. He's fine.
2v1 and just body slam to get himself away. It's not something you really expect to think from Gragas if you were to see this game and not know what's going on. A giant man just body slamming away, being so nimble and moving. But, you know, Shushay makes it happen, and that's how the play goes. A 3 in middle versus a 2, and Nunu and a Swain to defend here against Elements. It's going to be St. Vicious and Hotshot. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Big Fat.
Interesting too that Gragas seems to want to build the Lich Bane even before the Death Cap. That is not his normal build. Normally it's either Banshees into Death Cap or Death Cap into Banshees and then the Lich Bane.
Yeah, I don't know why Chowster left that top lane. Could be doing a lot of damage right now, or saving his turret from doing or getting a lot of damage. They maybe thought there was going to be a team fight in mid, and he, yes, would be necessary for that, being one of the sustained characters and able to dish out a lot of damage as well, with his cooldowns being very low at high level on that transfusion. And that actually does a lot of damage and makes Vlad a very deceiving character to 1v1 against or even team fight against, because you think he's going to go down, you're focusing him, and then you get a heal from somewhere else. Vlad transfusions, and it's not really somebody you want to focus anymore right off the bat. We can see XPK now invading the jungle a little bit. Cyanide getting in there with his Blood Boil to lay down some wards. Looks like they're going to go back for their blue and refresh it for XPK. His should be almost coming down by now. And power in numbers right now as they rat pack around their own jungle. CLG trying to grab some ground here.
They don't know that there's a ward in this bush, and that could go really, really bad for Fnatic right now. If CLG take their proper tipper initiative, and there it is. Oh, wow.
Exactly what Fnatic needed, or did not need at that point in time. CLG able to get a huge amount of damage out. And it looks like the chase going down to XPK. Does he dodge the Never Move? And he does. He gets out alive. Swain able to make it. They're able to, however, take out one more up top. Caitlyn falls to the ground. A 2v1 situation. Does Shushay have enough to move out? Going into the bush and flashing out. And a blood scent from Warwick. Swain coming back in. Has enough mana to ult and can definitely do some damage if they turn around and want to fight in that one.
That ward, this ward right here, pay attention people, that ward just brought CLG back into the game. Wards, people, buy them. They
Great
win
investment.
Games. Yeah, and that's exactly what I saw there. It was like, oh god, Fnatic, you can't stand there. There's a giant burning teddy bear coming from the sky for you right now. And they were just standing there waiting for it to hit. So that was the best initiation CLG could have gotten, but still, it wasn't enough. They could not decisively win that fight. And look at that, they are 5k gold behind at this point. And that is a lot of gold right there.
Yeah, Fnatic doing a very good job again of controlling those two only turrets that have gone down before. Actually, we lost one in mid, so 2 turrets down on CLG side. Fnatic starting to play their lane game once again. We saw Greg or Shuche up top, going for the top tower as well. That is almost down for CLG. So they've almost lost all 3 outer turrets. And you know, the roam game, when not being roam characters of Fnatic, as I've said before, is just playing very well for them right now, and giving them advantageous opportunities.
But Ashe still not with her Infinity Edge. She is definitely behind this game. 0-1-3, that's not ideal. The Caitlyn has the Infinity Edge and the seal already, giving her extra attack speed, move speed, and crit chance.
So you're saying it's good that she went for the Infinity Edge now?
Well, it's good that she has an Infinity Edge. She could have still built boots first, but you know, I'm pretty sure Big Fight is better at this game than me, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing there. It was a risk. The kill against him was probably not due to boots, I'll admit that, but it's a large risk that people are taking when they delay their boots so much.
Looks like Swain is pushing top by himself. He could get the damage on this turret. The minions will do it for him. They were able to pick up more global gold right there, 28.7 or 28,700 gold to 22,900 gold. So as we said, the 6,000 difference before, it could be hurting CLG a little bit, but that's not really a big difference if you divide that up amongst everybody, unless it's all going to one person. Then you kind of got to be worried. Caitlyn traps going all around. It's really where CLG is trying to get their vision from. You see a few wards, but they're all in CLG's jungle. They're really trying to counter the invasion of Fnatic at this point in time, and Fnatic's not doing too much invading at this right now. They're able to stay in their own jungle, commit to the fights around the turrets, and really do the damage they need to do out in the open. They don't have to worry about breaking line of sight in the jungle or trying to take them off guard. And I don't think they really like the situation that happened last time when they were hiding in the top bush.
Yeah, that was not very good. And they probably thought, okay, guys, let's just play this carefully right now. If we lose this, we're out of this. It looked like they were setting up for Dragon, and yes, they're going back for Dragon, but they have to be a little bit careful with Warwick in their team. CLG can do Baron really quickly if they leave it completely open, but I think there are no wards currently. Yeah, no wards in front of Dragon, so but they have a clairvoyance. They see what's up. They could be going for Baron right now, but they probably don't feel confident enough that they have the damage output necessary to kill Baron, and Fnatic are coming back.
Oh man, we could have a lane pinch here. Big Fat LP taking down the turret with his team. Will they choose to go down? Warwick actually going down Sprit from his team. That would have been a very easy kill if they went to take him right there. I'm going to check. Yeah, Warwick does have his flash, so they may have just been wasting cooldowns on that with the rest of the team on the other side. They did not want the anti-drop to come over that wall. They know what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And Ashe was not quite in position yet, so probably wise of Fnatic not to engage here. But they need to take this fight. After the Dragon, they need to take this fight. And I had heard an Ashe arrow, I believe, but they would have been too far away. Oh, there it is. Oh, and it hits Big Fat LP again. But I believe he's too far away. No!
No, he's not. They stop him, and the never move again.
Wow.
Twice. They were able to make that combination happen. Very good placement by Fnatic, and they are just using that 1-2-3 combo, putting Caitlyn up against the ropes and not allowing her to do anything.
This is perfect play right here, and I even doubted them. I thought, no, there's no way they're going to cross this distance, but obviously the Ashe arrow stuns for longer the longer it travels, and that was a good travel distance there right now, and it was enough for them, and that's an inner turret going down against CLG right here.
Yeah, Fnatic doing a very good job coming out strong. CLG was able to take the first turret. Bottom turret went down quickly after, but now Fnatic again back on their lane game, back around controlling the map. We're going to see the creep score right now in favor of Fnatic. They have 3 over 150, and it's only going to be 1 person over 150 right now for CLG. So again, they're being throttled in the lanes. They're not allowed to farm, and every time they try, they're met with 5 members of Fnatic. Blue pilling, does he know? Yes, he definitely has enough time. They're not going to head in. Janna doesn't even know that he was there. Hotshot is like, oh, somebody may be in this bush. I'll face check it. It looks like they could be heading up towards Baron. We'll just see what they're trying to pull. They don't really see too much vision of Fnatic right now, so maybe that's what they're trying to do, get Fnatic to walk through the wards that they have placed.
It would have been a desperation, Baron. They don't have Blood Razor on Warwick, and even though that Lantern block does work against Baron, it's probably not going to be enough damage to just sneak a Baron. Fnatic will get suspicious if CLG are missing from the lanes for too long, and they'll go there and CV it or just check it, and if CLG loses a Baron fight right now, that's it. Game over.
We can see in the hands of Fnatic, they have 6 wards being placed. No wards in the hands of CLG, but they are relying on that Wriggles Lantern, as you mentioned before, from Warwick. So he's only able to place them out once every so often, and he's been using that. There was one that went out at Baron that has fallen down now. I believe Sona may have an Oracle's on her as well, and I think she does. I just saw that on, unless she walked into a Caitlyn trap. But I don't think that was the case. A quick Q from the hands of Caitlyn. A great amount of critical damage. You can see 735 on the minions. And so once she gets that armor penetration within her build, she's definitely going to be able to do a ton of damage to the Nunu, a good amount of damage to the Gragas, and pretty much cut down Swain no matter what during the fight if she can stay behind the defensive line. And we said before, CLG not a very tanky team at this point, so they could easily be taken down in the fight as well by the Gragas ult. We see how much damage that does to Caitlyn. The Never Move also doing a lot of damage in the hands of Swain, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and donate the blue buff away. That should be going to Swain in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gragas now up to 364 AP with a Death Cap, Hextech Revolver, a Sheen, and another Amplifying Tone. So that's going to be a setup for... Oh, let's see if that arrow connects to anything. It connects... Oh, wow. Okay, that jump up, I'm just going to say it again, probably would have been too far away, but who knows? Who knows what they can make happen?
That did seem like it would have been too far away. They really would have been overextending themselves to go and get that one and try and get everybody in position in time. They have pushed CLG back to the base. They do see that this has happened. Shushay looks like he may want to initiate this, but a lot of members of Fnatic or CLG moving up, not enough time to be able to do Baron. They notice that they're all missing from the map. No wards really there, but they do have the Clairvoyant, so they can quickly make the assumption and check it out if they need to. It looks like they're all going to go back to mid. Get this push down. That's huge amount of damage on Caitlyn, taking half of her health. Tibbers goes down, and they are not able to take out anybody with that. I think that was a misclick by the hands of Elements as he threw down Tibbers in the middle of the lane out of nowhere.
I don't think so. I think he thought his team was ready, but they just weren't, and they were so scared of that barrel that they just moved back. The Tibbers landed perfectly, and the Warwick out followed up on Ash, but that was it. I mean, and he died right away, and Warwick died right away. And Lamia, look at him, he's fine. He's like, yeah, you took 200 health of me. Yeah, that's great for you.
That was a great disperse by Fnatic. I think they all dodged the Tibbers at that point in time, not taking too much damage, and Annie not having her stun up as well, so they were able to just kind of walk out of that. Seeing the wards right through the bush, Janna gets taken. Will she get Never Moved as well from that position? They're waiting for her to move. She goes to ult, so her ult is down, and she goes down. Very good timing there, taking that out, thinking she could save herself. Looks like they will still be able to go for Baron on this one. Caitlyn on the other side, if they do not have the CV, their Janna is down. The CV is also down, and this is going to be a free Baron for Fnatic. A lot of gold, a lot of experience, and a huge power play for them in this game right now. The lanes are only to mid. Like I said, this is not going to allow CLG to farm. Their creep score has not really moved yet. Still only one member above 150 creeps. Now 235 for Shushay.
Wow.
As a melee character, just being able to throw melee slightly ranged with the barrels, and that's pretty much destroying every creep wave he comes up to. So they're able to push their lanes very, very fast and give CLG that much more of a hard time to get out and get what they need to do, get the team fight that they want like they had in the top push earlier.
And there's the Will of the Ancients for Gragas, I'd say borderline OP item at the moment. It's let's put it that way. In certain team comps, it's extremely, extremely strong, and Europe is dominated by dual AP meta. That just means you are definitely going to have a buddy in the team who is going to benefit from the additional AP, the additional spell vamp a lot. So that is just going to make Xpeak very, very happy to have that.
Swain is going to definitely be unstoppable. Xpeak very happy about that situation. They see the body slam just destroying those first minions. They're going to go ahead and again give this to Xpeak. He is not even near losing that blue buff, but they're still going to refresh it. Probably had a good 30 seconds to a minute left, and they're going to go ahead and go bottom lane. No, they don't even need to. That lane is pushed already. They may find Caitlyn here a little bit overextended, and even if she isn't, Gragas is going to make sure that she is.
Yes, he will overextend her personally. We have seen that before, and that seems to be a very painful process because most of her health bar turns red when that happens.
Yeah, not something you want to have happen, actually. The Never Move going down just to kind of disperse everybody from guarding the lane. Minions coming up, and he's even taking down the melee minions right away with those key barrels. Never Move going down once again. XPK really not worried about wasting mana at this point. Tibber goes down, and it does have the stun as they focus on Shushay. Quite tanky. They will be able to take down St. Vicious. Warwick falls. Chowster taking a lot of damage as he comes out of the Sanguine pool. He will go down as well. Hotshot GG falls to the hands of Shushay. That is 3, 4, and the ace is down. A huge push by Fnatic, and looking very grim for CLG at this point.
Questionable decision from Elements there to drop that Tibbers down and force his team into the team fight, because once that Tibbers is down, that's a large investment, and you just don't want to just say, well, you drop tippers, I'm going to hang back here where it's safe. So it's basically, it's him saying, go. And that was not a good go at all.
Oh, wow. It looks like they will go for this one. Nunu taking the first one. They're going to go for the ultimate. XPK will be the one taking, and it looks like this will be game. However, they do have 3 members coming up right now, so they may be able to push them off. No, it's going to be a 5v2 situation. And ladies and gentlemen, Fnatic able to push CLG back to the 5th place game, and that is a GG. Fnatic wins 2 over CLG, needing 1 here at DreamHack.
I'm happy. Are you happy?
Wow. XPK making the difference.
Well, Joe Miller put it very nicely yesterday. He said, from a neutral perspective, this is the best outcome because we're going to have 2 European and 2 North American teams.
This is true.
The final brackets. So, very, very good game. And I'm happy to see these team comps working out so nicely. That's just, it's a pleasure to watch that kind of team play, that kind of level of coordination. And CLG, to be frank, they seemed clueless. They had no answer. They were like, we know what's coming.
A little being caught off guard and out of position a lot. And even if you weren't out of position, like we said, Gragas is going to make that happen. Yeah. If you were a little overextended, if you were trying to farm at your own turret, you get busted out, you get hit with the Ash Arrow, the never move. I really didn't think they were actually going to go for that combo.
Nope.
I was like, oh, they'll be out of position. Somebody's not going to be there to make it happen. You know, you're not going to be able to get the never move on. Ash may be able to move in time, or Caitlyn rather. But no, 1, 2, 3. They did it almost 3 times in a row. And they were able to take down Caitlyn in a matter of seconds. That left them to take down another turret, and really amazing gameplay from Fnatic. We can see 3 people over 200 creep score on the screen, and still, by the end of the game, Elements had 143 and Chaucer had 140, 6, but Big Fat LP was the only one to make it over 150 creep score, which means lane control. Fnatic doing a very good job of making sure those turrets go down. Their roam game without even really having the roam characters, it just exceptional.
And yeah, you must secretly be a pro because you called that 100% perfectly, that Ash Arrow into Gragas ulti.
That's awesome.
Move. That was just wonderful. And yeah, you don't even need to stand out of position. You just need to stand in the front row. Even if you are under your tower, like Big Fat LP learned the hard way, if there is no tank in front of you to take that Ash Arrow, you're going to get the Ash Arrow in the face, and then Gragas is going to get in range.
So was this the A team you were talking about that they had?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Nope. They still have an ace up their sleeve. This was not the team I'm talking about. Yeah. So, actually, the team I'm talking about would probably not have worked that well against it. It's built against a different sort of meta game, but I think we're still going to believe, we're still going to see it in this game. So, if we have a little time, we could switch to my screen and go to the scoreboard here. And we can see exactly what Rivington III was talking about here a moment ago. Look at that, 246, 208, 205. That's exactly what you want to see. And wow.
Very big.
408, 416, 504. That's the 3 damage dealers here in Team Fnatic, and they got all the kills, they got all the CS. It couldn't have gone more perfectly for them, whereas in the other team, it's not even that clear who the damage dealers should have been. I guess Annie, Vlad, and Caitlyn. But Vlad building very, very tanky here. I'm not even sure what he was building. I mean, there's a Negatron cloak, there's a Giant's belt.
Yeah, you can see how much that lane control hurts. Really only, as you said, Caitlyn with her final build. Everybody's still with partial builds, getting their pieces, getting the combinations and the recipes that they need, but not able to finish that build is really what hurts. And you're forced to, at one point, save your money or get an item that will still help and have to, sell it later, which is never what you want to do because you're losing gold in that situation.
Let's have a look at the damage done stats here. We have these very shiny graphs here, and we can see very clearly a very clear picture here. The lowest damage done on X-Peak is about the same as the highest damage done. I mean, the lowest damage done amongst the damage dealers is the same as the highest on CLG. So we can definitely see where the damage was coming from here, and this was exactly how Fnatic planned this. If we go back to the main scoreboard, we can see that Fnatic X-Peak was building very, very tanky. The Rod of Ages, that extra health, the Abyssal Scepter, that extra magic resist. So he basically said, I'm going to go in, I'm going to turn to a giant bird, I'm going to heal up and take as much damage as you want to dish out, and I'm going to be just fine. And, Shujay with his extremely aggressive build, just working so very, very perfectly. And I have to say, it's looking really good for Fnatic right now. They are going to make it to the finals if they keep this up.
Yeah, if they can continue this play. Now, we really didn't see any composition that CLG brought to the table in these matches that really helped them against the Fnatic team. So we'll have to see if somebody else can do that. Maybe Epic, maybe AAA can bring that to the table.
AAA is going to be scary because that is the long-standing rivalry in Europe. Fnatic versus AAA. It's crossed the games. It's been the same. Not by Fnatic versus SK would be the main rivalry, but Fnatic versus AAA has been the main rivalry from back when Fnatic was still called Birth or was still called My Revenge. And I think we're going to cut over to their players right now and have a quick interview.
Yep.
Hello, so that was just a really epic game with CLG versus Fnatic, and I'm here with Hotshot GG, who played Janna in that last game. So it was obviously a really huge match for you guys. You know, that did put you back into 5th place, but, you know, what were your thoughts overall?
I thought the other team, Fnatic, played very well, and they picked very well, and they just totally outpicked us. We kind of underestimated them first game, and we kind of wanted to try something new with Mundo and etc., and it just wasn't our strength, and we just fell from there.
What in particular did you try that wasn't your strength?
Well, we just tried new things like Mundo and things we haven't really tried before, and that didn't work out well, and we didn't take their Ashe away, and that was the key factor to every game.
Right. And I know there was definitely some surprise during the champion select. Like, they kind of almost took some of your champions from that first game. And was that a surprise for you guys? Did you know what to expect coming out of that?
We got all the heroes we wanted. We expected everything, and I think the only thing that we didn't really expect was the Ashe pick at the very start, first pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a really big moment in the match where there was a ward at top, and you guys were able to initiate onto them with a great Timber stun. However, you weren't really able to repeat that throughout the rest of the game. They seemed to learn from that, kind of dispersed a little bit. I mean, did you guys have another how to counter that a little bit?
Well, the initial Timber stun that we did top and we succeeded with, we didn't execute it properly, and we didn't clean up what we should have. So that was our downfall after that, and they were just too ahead for us to come back. Top lane was pretty much dominated. Bottom lane is a free farm, but random Ashe arrows really contribute to winning lanes in top and bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And right at the very end, there was a big showdown in bottom lane. They got an ace off on you guys, and can you describe kind of what happened there?
Well, at that point, they were just way too strong, and they were too far ahead, and it was pretty much over at that point.
All right, and so your next game is going to be against Gamed for 5th place. What are your thoughts going into that game?
We're just going to play standard, try what we always do, and hopefully we'll be able to win.
Great. Well, best of luck to you, and over to Tamit.
All right, and we're here with Becca from Fnatic. Congratulations, that was an awesome game. Good job. How do you feel?
Awesome. That's the only word I can say now. Really awesome.
Awesome. I love how you gave the crowd a big old Demacia right after your victory. That was a good touch. So one of the things that really, you guys did good in the last 2 games was your picks and ban strategy was just really clutch. Tell me a little bit about your decisions there.
Well, we knew exactly what to want. Like Nidalee, TF, and Rumble. In first game, they had first pick. That we just took out Rumble. We didn't want them to pick it. In second game, they have to pick it out. So we had first pick and another extra ban. So we just went for our usual picks, and we know that their Aniblia pair is really good, and we saw a chance to first pick it, so we just first pick it, and after that counter picking pretty much with all the others.
All right, so in secrecy, just between me and you, and then the 40,000 or so viewers out there, how confident were you actually going into this game? Did you think you guys had a real chance, or were you sweating pretty hard?
I knew the nerves would be a big fact. I didn't play. This is my first match, I said, 2 rounds, so I was really, really nervous. I know some of my team were kind of not motivated because of yesterday, but I know we had high chance. For sure, if we play like we have done, we have high chance of winning.
So you're still not out of the woods. You've got some fierce competition coming up. You're going to be facing off against Epic Games here in the near future. What's your thoughts on that?
Winning? That's the rhyme. We're going to win for sure. At least 1 round for sure. We're not going to lose 2-0 that match.
What do you think is going to be your obviously you can't go into your big strategy, but what do you think really sets you guys aside?
What do you mean, decide?
What do you think gives you edge against Team Epic?
Epic, well, I saw the match they played against them without me, and they kind of had it won, but they just lose it by some stupid little mistakes, not right focusing, which I think they could have won it without me perfectly if they just focused it a bit more. So I think doing the same they did with me and not having mistake will be enough.
All right, well, thank you so much, and good luck in your next games. We've got more action coming right up, so stay tuned. Back to you guys.